Hey, my name is Shonte and I'm a final year law student currently studying at the University of Law. So I plan to be a solicitor in the very near future. So hopefully I get a training contract, fingers crossed, and then I can progress on to do the LPC, which is the legal practice course. For those who want to become barristers, you will go on to do the BPTC, which is the bar training course. So today's video is about my experience in final year as opposed to first and second year. So I hope you enjoy the video, and yeah, let's get straight into it. My experience in my final year so far is, I'm going to be totally honest, it has been really stressful. So opposed to first and even second year, those years were considerably easier than third year, and I think that's just mainly because my uni has switched things up this year. So in first and second year it was all exams, 3-hour exams, and that was that. In final year, so in the first term of my final year, which I've completed, we had assignments. So we had 8 assignments to do, which amounted to 10,000 words, and I think we had maybe about a month and a bit to complete those assignments. Where I've done exams for 2 years and I knew my revision technique and everything, I had to basically switch things up in a very short amount of time. So I know a lot of people are probably sitting there thinking, but coursework is so much better, it's easier, you don't have the time pressure from exams and all of that stuff. So yes, I definitely agree, but like I said, where I've been used to something, it was, I wouldn't say a huge change, but it was a big change. However, I did learn a lot of skills in terms of just changing things up at such a short time and just tweaking my revision a little bit. I am now on to my second term of my final year, which is you get to pick your options. So my options, I've picked employment law, criminal litigation and evidence, and companies, governments, tax and insolvency. Those 3 modules are exams. However, they're not 3 hours, they're now 2-hour exams. So they will consist of 10 multiple choice questions, and you get 5 questions and you get to pick 2. You can choose any 2. It doesn't matter as long as you complete 2. Whereas in previous exams you had 20 multiple choice questions and you had 4 questions which you had to do every single one of them. The last question you got to choose between an essay and a problem question. So I think the way they've done the exams, it should be a little bit easier. However, it is graded at level 6. So level 6 is the highest level at university, so they expect a very high standard of you when it comes to your work. I know in coursework the standard is set way high, basically because you don't have the pressures of exams. You have a lot more time to proofread and go over your work, so there's no excuses for grammar and spelling mistakes, whereas in the exam there's a little bit more leeway. So it is graded at level 6, which is a much higher standard, so that's scaring me a little bit. I think that's basically why I've been finding it stressful, just because it's been a change and I'm still kind of adapting to it. And also we're doing, like I said, I'm doing employment, criminal, lit and evidence, and companies, government, tax and insolvency, and the exams are back to back. In my first and second year we would do, for example, land law and we'll have an exam, then we'll do equity and trust, and then we'll have an exam. That's how it was based, whereas now it's employment, criminal, lit and companies, back to back exams. So where I've never done that before, it is going to be a challenge, but it has to be done because I don't plan to fail university. It is not happening. Setting aside from university, there's also applying for vacation schemes. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I do plan to become a solicitor. On top of my assignments I had to do, I was also applying for vacation schemes, and that just added to the stress. I was able to overcome parts of my stress by planning my days out. So I would have a strict plan which I stuck to, and my plan meant that I would wake up at 6:30, I would do coursework for 3 hours, I would do applications for 3 hours, and that's basically how I set out my plan, and I stuck to it. That's how I got through my first term of my final year. So going back to applications, on top of actually doing applications, there are a number of tests. Majority of firms, you do have to do tests. So these tests can range from situational judgment tests, Watson Glazers, verbal reasoning tests, and numerical reasoning tests as well. These tests are not easy. So if anyone has any vacation scheme applications coming up or training contract applications, practice the tests beforehand. Get a feel of what the tests are about, because I promise you they are not easy. Besides from final year being more stressful than my previous years, I am great. I love my law degree with a passion. I would not have chosen any other degree besides law. Is something I've always wanted to do, and I've stuck through it. But even though it's tough and it's stressful, I love it. So yeah, so before I leave you, I have some advice which I hope you can take through with you throughout your degree and beyond. It is very easy for a law degree to get the best of you. I know that. I am at my final year of my law degree, so I have witnessed my law degree getting the best of me. My one piece of advice is not to leave anything until the last minute. I know it can be very easy to leave things till the last minute, but I personally believe that is the worst thing you could do, and that's how your work starts to build up, and then you start to get stressed because you've left everything to the last minute. So as soon as you leave a lecture, write up your lecture notes. Do not leave it till the next day. Do not leave it till a week later. As soon as you finish a lecture, write up your lecture notes when it's still all fresh in your mind and you can remember what your lecturer just said. As soon as you get an assignment, look at it. Don't put it at the bottom of your bag. Look at the assignment, look at the question, look at the bibliography. What is it asking you to do? What books are you required to read? Start planning. Do not leave it to a week before the deadline. Start straight away, so every day you could do a little bit by little bit. And I say that because it's very unlikely that you're going to get one assignment to do and that's it. You're also going to have to do a lot of other stuff on top of that, also whatever personal commitments you might have outside of university. So whenever you get an assignment, start it straight away. I don't mean start writing the question, because it's very unlikely you're going to understand the question straight away, but start planning, start picking out the question and start looking at books that you need to read. I hope you enjoyed the video. Any comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment section down below. And of course, if you've liked this video, make sure to give it a nice big thumbs up. That is it for me, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye!